Working Late is our latest project and kind of something small that we just made for ourselves. There's no monetization in the room, no sub buttons. There's just a small club button in there. And it's just a small experience that we enjoyed bringing back to life. It was originally from a story room that me and Dark had made when we met a few years ago, and just didn't really have the power to finish it with such a small team at the time. This police station still holds a lot of the same original builds and lighting it once did. And since it came from our first official side project, it's really, really special in both of our hearts. A lot of what you're seeing here was placed recently. Most of the walls and everything were completely empty, and a lot of the builds are outdated. So we went around and just completely overhauled it with a ton of new props and stuff. And another major change of the room was the big window. The big window was not there originally, but now making it into a hangout, I figured it needed to be less like a jail, more like an inviting presence, able to hold people in there, not feel as cramped. Next, I'm going to go over a few things that I did as main visual design for the room and explain how they were done. The radio was a very, very important part of the original room. It just added that necessary vibe that we wanted to go with for this police station. And although we definitely wanted to keep it, we did have to change it up because in the original room it was a story, so you were only going to be in there for a little bit. So we had a looping playlist of 5 songs, but in a hangout experience where people are expected to stay much longer, we did have to extend it to make up for that time. But of course it didn't feel right to just 2 years later get a new filter and just add songs on there, have that random change in quality. So Dark went ahead and redid the entire thing, sporting a new playlist of 9 songs and all new hits, completely redoing the playlist. Although there is one song that remains, and as a fun fact, it is the last song on the playlist. It is The Fascinations' Can't Stay Away From You. That is the first song in the original playlist, and it's just the one that we love the most of the original ones. We just needed to keep it. And although a lot of people, of course, they won't be able to know that, that is something near and dear to our hearts. So that is just a little Easter egg about the original room. Enough about the radio, though. We're all here for this handsome devil right back here. There isn't very much for me to say about him, but he is definitely a very core aspect of this room. He wasn't in the original one, but I decided that I just wanted to have something filling that desk. So I went through all my outfits and I found this one. I went through and I rearranged the stuff that was on the desk and then did a little holotar of me tapping around. And one last little fun fact about him. You can see that he's actually typing. It looks like he's typing something. I was listening to the soundtrack while this was going on, and I was just kind of typing along with the words to what they actually were saying. And then every once in a while, I'd press the little backspace key and then go over on the papers on my left. You're going to see that when he's typing right here, he is actually typing words out, and that is the songs of the original playlist. So if you take a look at the portraits in the room, you'll notice that there is mine and there's Dark's right next to each other, and that Dark's hat was just kind of sliding down his head. This was not planned. It was just that when we were in the room, Dark just put it on the back of his head, and I thought it would be funny if at some point I could reference that. In the last year's birthday float contest, I submitted mine with a Rec Royale Ranger hat, and luckily, of course, we're using the Ranger sets, so I put that in the lost and found bin, and I would love to say that it was planned out, but it was really last minute. But, you can see that on my holotar that my Ranger still has his hat on, so you can imagine who actually lost theirs. Speaking of the portraits, another huge aspect of the room was the pictures I hung on the wall around the area. Those are all just made with Canva. I have Canva Pro. It definitely helped a lot, but it is not required. I just used a free online Google background for police officers to take photos with. Had a little thing in there. I used pictures of me and Dark, cropped it out in the background, and then just chuck it on there, slap it in there, threw it in there with Studio, and then the rest is history. And all that the same goes for the wanted poster, although this one is just a little more special, as the noob that you can see on it is a running character in the side projects lore, appearing in the player get volume tutorial that Dark made as the beggar in the beginning, and the star of the short story video contest entry that we made called The Curse of the Crimson Noob. That is all the same guy, and he's back in there. I just had the idea because I wanted to have a wanted poster on the wall, and of course there's only 2 of us, so neither of us could have played it, and I thought, who's the guy that's always causing trouble? The noob. This has been a little behind the scenes look at our latest game, Working Late. If you haven't seen it already, go check it out. I'll have a link in the description to the room, and then you can just go check it out in Rec Room. Although it isn't a super big project for us, it is just something that we love so much. It is a big part of our group and our group's history, and I hope you can go and enjoy it for yourself too. I have been Cattywumpis from Side Projects, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye bye.